Well, Seth, we went as hard as any human beings could go to try and make this happen, but unfortunately we fell short. 15 days in, and we're probably like 90% there, right? And the major killer was hitting that rock in the beginning. We had challenges along the way, but that's the one that really just sucked up all our useful days to make this project happen.
Multiple days of digging, and what we estimated was going to be a day.
It's heartbreaking because we have to leave now. But I can tell you this much: we're gonna be back in a short period of time to actually finish this thing. So I know I've never seen anybody work as hard on the customer side.
Oh my God.
Trying to like facilitate everything. Like you've been on the phone all day, every day, just
harassing
trying
people
like crazy to get these people to move fast. And I feel so bad for you.
Well, from plumbing parts to electrical stuff to more rock, not the right kind of rock, different, like we need, you know, like big chunky stuff, not this little thin stuff.
Gravel, electrical.
Oh my gosh, just the list goes on and on. Oh, and don't forget Jack's 400 pots of coffee. You know?
Oh man. I can tell you, as a person who's never drank coffee before in my life, I've brewed more coffee in the last 2 weeks than my whole 38 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you're natural.
Apologies. And at the end, I was mixing different bags. I was like, I don't care. These guys are fueled by coffee. They can't tell the difference.
So even though we are where we are with the project, how do you feel about where we're at so far?
I feel great, man. We got hit with some bad luck. We got some bad weather. We hit rock. I feel a bit of responsibility about the rock because I probably could have known that, or it should have been maybe in my mind to some degree. And I just think we caught some bad luck. I watch you guys work your tails off every day, and you know, I was talking with my family about it. And my mom had just some good advice, like she often does, and she's like, just zoom out. She's like, zoom out. You're gonna use this thing for 25 years.
This could have gone awry, right?
Yeah, well, it started, you guys got a flat tire on day one. It was like the omens were there, you know, and it was nobody's fault. It just was happening, you know?
So for Brian and I pull off like an epic, like humongous project like this, especially traveling to another country, we have to have the cooperation of the homeowner. And you've been nothing but fantastic. And that for us is a huge part of the experience. Like, it's not just building the water feature, it's the fun we have, like the good times, and then of course with the amazing crew that we were able to work with. All that stuff adds up to a great project for us. So even though we didn't get the end result we wanted in the time frame, it will happen. I promise you it's going to be spectacular.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have no doubts. I have no doubts. What's already out there is like mind-blowing, you know, and I'm not one to like brag. I can't help it. I'm sending all my friends photos. I'm like, look at my yard, you know.
Well, it's so funny because last night, I mean, it's dark, and the two of us are sitting there just staring at it. And I was like, I don't want to leave. Like, I just want to stare at it for a while. Crazy. It's really cool.
I know. You guys had me, you know, checking the water level, and for me that meant at 1:30 in the morning, I popped up. I'm like, let me go check the water. At 4 a.m. I was out here this morning, and I just was like, man, it's clearing up. I was freezing, and I was like, let me just go around and check it from different angles, and I was just like, couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's 4:30 in the morning, and I'm just out here like, we got a pond in the yard that used to just be grass, you know?
I remember so vividly when I got my pond in my backyard, and I would pinch myself for like 3 years, just like, is this mine? Do I like actually own this thing? And both of us said, we want that pond.
I want that pond.
That's a cool pond.
Man, I laugh thinking about when I first filmed that video for you, Jack, from the roof, and I just basically was like, oh, let's just put like a farm runoff style pond just over in the corner. Just put an oval and like maybe some little waterfall for the kids to interact with. And you guys were here 5 minutes, and you're like, everything's coming closer. We're gonna wrap around the house. The water will come up to the foundation. And I probably asked you guys the same. I'm like 10 times. I'm like, So the water's just coming right up to the foundation. So the water's just gonna come right up to. So many times, and then my wife went out. She's like, so the water's just gonna come right. I'm like, that's what they say, you know.
When that stone, so that stone that's right off the lanai, when that actually got set, I think is when it clicked for you. You're like, you're like, I didn't understand fully until this thing went in.
You had the spot cleared, waiting for it, you know, and I kind of understood it, but when it fit like a glove. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, we're gonna hang our feet over this thing. The water's gonna really just come right up to it as if it was here before the house and the house got built around it or something.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
cool.
what we were going for. And thank God you gave us the artistic freedom to actually make this come to fruition. Because this is a dream project of mine for sure. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, anytime we get to do these projects together, we usually pull off some pretty amazing stuff. You know, when we have a crew like Ralph and Chris back there helping, we just know we can leave detail stuff for them to do, and it's going to get executed flawlessly every single time.
The only way a project this size comes together in 2 weeks is with the right people.
Yep.
And having those two, Ralph and Chris, they're unsung heroes, because you and I we're coming up with the design, we're checking to make sure everything's being followed according to what we think should be executed with the plan. But those guys are just back there making it happen, constantly knowing exactly what to do, and we never have to go back and check on them because they're pros.
Yep.
No, I would watch you guys work, and you're working with an operator in one corner, Brian, you're off in another corner, Ralph and Chris are off doing their own things, and it's just like
everybody's coming together.
Steam some days, or I mean, pretty much every day. But there was one day out there when the two corners connected, and I was just like, I can't believe how much work you guys got done in one day, and like the whole thing just snapped into place.
Rocking the pond in.
Well, when we were having all the problems with not being able to get the rock, I told you, I'm like, we're chomping at the bit. Like when we get that rock, we're gonna start slamming. I mean, we started slinging some rocks.
Yeah, you came from the left, I started on the right.
We probably set 60 tons in one day. We just went crazy because we were ready to go. As soon as that rock hit the ground, we're like, okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about the design for a second. So we did do a drawing for this. This is not something that we normally do, but this time it helped extremely, right? I think we're as close as you can get to the actual design. What are your thoughts on that?
It's to the T, you know? It's exactly what you laid out, all the elements that are there, the beach, the stepping stones, the bridges, the intake, the deck, everything is exactly how that drawing was. It was a pleasure to be able to say like, oh, that looks great, we love that, and then that appear.
Yeah, we actually used it pretty intensely, and we don't usually follow a plan that intensely or that close, right? But we were really like measuring, all right, if we can figure out where the bridge is at, then we can figure out where the intake bay goes, and we were like, all right, the intake bay needs 10, 12 feet past the bridge, and then here's the pond, and here's where we need enough room for plants around the lanai to the deck, and so on and so on.
A huge thing for us was line of sight. And we constantly would step back, and there's so much glass in the back of our house, we can look through the windows and see the front door. We're like, what's the view when somebody opens that door and turns their head to the left? Like, what are they going to see? And that was always something we were keeping.
So that's really the only thing we shifted. The waterfalls were supposed to be a little bit more to the left, and we shifted them to the right because a single stone was going to block the view of a lot of the waterfalls. So we just moved it 5-6 feet to the right, and it'll be great. I can't wait to hear your friends and family and all those people, like when they come in through the front door or come around the corner of the house, just like,
yeah. I mean, it just grabs you. It grabs you. At night when it's lit up, it's gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy.